Became professor first of logic and then of moral philosophy at the University of Glasgow. In Scotland, Smith also began his friendship with the celebrated philosopher David Hume. They met for companionship, to share information and ideas in Hume's house in James's Court in Edinburgh. After teaching for some 15 years, Smith was asked to be tutor to the young Duke of Buccleuch, one of the great landed families of the border. The post had a fixed salary with a pension at the end. It was an arrangement that was very much in Smith's interest. It was also the very kind of secure salary that he disapproved of. But self-interest triumphed over abstract principle. And in 1764, he resigned his professorship and set off for the continent to take his pupil on the grand tour. One of the men Smith visited lived here exactly on the border between France and Switzerland. The location was chosen because the police had shown previously the need for rapid international movement across international frontiers. The occupant was Francois-Marie Arouet, called Voltaire. For Smith, as for modern pilgrims to Ferney, Voltaire lighted the end of a tunnel. Few men in history have taken more pleasure in the free pursuit of thought or in the outrage of those who stand guard for caution, conventional wisdom, or prejudice. And these were also the values of Adam Smith. He too was richly informed, amused, and amusing. Voltaire had another attraction. He spoke excellent English, and Smith had been having a wretched time with his French. Voltaire had lived in England after one of his recurrent collisions with outraged authority. He regarded England quite literally as an island of political liberty, freedom of thought, and expression, a place where the different, exceptional, or dissenting view would always have a hearing, and where reputable orthodoxy did not enforce its will. Voltaire was a man, the man of reason, a word scholars hesitate to define. For Voltaire, as for Smith, it meant avoiding conclusions based on religious faith, fear, prejudice, or passion. Decision came from the fully informed mind. Too soon, we may guess, Smith left to continue his journey over France. As he traveled over France, Smith saw the intelligent, patient, good-humored men who worked the rich French land. They're still the basis of its agricultural mystique. This special role of agriculture was the principal strand of French thought to which Smith was exposed. But markets like this one, still occasions of much gaiety, color, and amusement in France, were a reminder to him of his own faith. The market is the great regulator of economic life. It rewards those who produce good things cheap, and it punishes those who produce bad goods at high cost. Lurking just back of the market stalls is a very stern master. Perhaps the fun is to help people forget this presence. At the time of Smith's Odyssey, the agricultural faith of France was reflected in the ideas of a remarkable group of men whom we call the physiocrats. The physiocrats held that all wealth originated in agriculture. Only in agriculture, as the gift of nature, did productive effort yield a surplus over cost. Trade and manufacture yielded no such gain. They were necessary, but they were sterile. The surplus produced in agriculture, its produit né, supported everybody else. Agriculture for the physiocrats was truly the basic industry. As Keynes said, no economic idea is ever truly dead. Many years ago, I worked for the American Farm Bureau Federation, the great farm organization and lobby of the United States. It was then at the height of its power. Each December, our members met in convention, and the voice of physiocracy, the claim that agriculture is the source of all wealth, rang through the halls. I expected at Farm Bureau meetings, farmers' union meetings, the voice of the physiocrats is still being heard. With this unique role for agriculture, Smith did not agree. Nor did he approve of the despotic extravagance of the French state, neither the splendor of the old monarchy nor the taxes that sustained it. He might not even have paused to admire this modern reminder of past glories, the Garde Républicaine. On one matter, Smith and the physiocrats did agree. Public expenditure, and therewith the burden of taxation, must be kept down. And to do this, you must limit the power of the state. This was not a thought that had occurred strongly to Louis XIV. Nor was it ruling doctrine at Versailles when Smith and his protege arrived there, although the physiocrats did enjoy the high patronage of the court. The state was idealized, glorified, and so was the rural France of the physiocrats. One manifestation, the kind of elaborate novelty that goes well with insufficient occupation, was the Armo, Marie Antoinette's idealization of the French village here in the park at Versailles. Another elaborate novelty was a pioneer effort in econometrics, in reducing economic relationships to hard, measured quantities. This was it, the tableau économique. It attempted to show what each participant in the economy, farmers, landlords, the so-called sterile classes, received in income and passed back in product. The inventor was physician to Louis XV and the protege of Madame de Pompadour. High distinctions for an economist. He was Francois Kenneth. Smith met Kenneth, but like later scholars, he was not much impressed by the tableau. In 1973, Vasily Leontief won the Nobel Prize for his great table showing what each part of the modern economy gives to and receives from every other part. It's an idea that is in distant descent from Dr. Kenneth. Today, the Leontief-type system is a vital tool of planning in the Soviet Union and the other socialist economies. The setting of Versailles was frivolous, romantic, but in economics, its arm was very long. In Versailles, Smith met another physiocrat, Anne Robert Jacques Turgot. Turgot believed that public expenditure and therewith the burden of taxation on enterprise, or as the physiocrats saw it on agriculture, on the produit né, should be kept to a minimum. And in 1774, he became Comptroller General of France, and his immediate task was to curb the expenditures of the French court. He failed. A firm rule operated against